Hi, my name is Sophie Dupe and I'm one of the paediatric diabetes dietitians, and today we're going to learn how to carbohydrate count. Firstly, we're going to look at foods that come in food labels. Next, we're going to look at foods such as fruit and vegetables that don't come in any packaging. And finally, we're going to learn how to carbohydrate count foods that we need to weigh out. So the first method that can be used for carbohydrate counting is to use food labels if the food is packaged. All food labels are usually on the back of the packets. So as you can see here from this pizza box, we would need to look at the total carbohydrate on the box, ignore the line that says of which sugars, and then look at the per portion column. So on this box, it's half a pizza, and half a pizza is 42.2 grams of carbohydrate. If you were going to eat a different amount of pizza, so not half a pizza, then you would need to adjust the carbohydrate amount for your portion size. So for example, if you were going to eat the whole pizza, then you would need to do 42.2 times by 2 to give you the amount of carbohydrate in an entire pizza. So the other way to calculate the carbohydrate content of foods if they don't have a label, so for example fruit and vegetables, is to use resources such as the Carbs and Cals book or phone app. The book or phone app visually shows pictures of the food, so we can compare the size of the food to how much carbohydrate content there is. So for example, if we take the banana and open up at the page in the book, so we can see there's 3 different pictures of the bananas depending on what size banana you're going to have. So this is a fairly small banana, so we would say this is closest to the top picture, which has 13 grams of carbohydrate. Now another way to do it would be to weigh your banana to find out if that is the best carbohydrate value to use. So if we pop it on the scales and we use the banana with the skin, so actually the weight of this banana is 136 grams, so it's closer to this picture, which is 17 grams of carbohydrate. The other way you can use the Carbs and Cals book is there are the list of weights per 100 grams. So for example, a banana weighed with skin per 100 grams is 13 grams of carbohydrate. So if we do that calculation, so if we do 13 divided by 100 to give us how much carbohydrate is in 1 gram, and then times by the weight on the scales, would show us that the banana has got 18 grams of carbohydrate in it. So the next method for carbohydrate counting is for foods that are not in a set portion size. So for example, cereal, rice and pasta. For these foods, we need to weigh out the foods to calculate the carbohydrate content. So first start by getting an empty bowl or plate and putting it on the scales. And then it's really important that we remember to press 0 to ensure that we're not counting the weight of the bowl. Then we're going to measure out our pasta. So we have 145 grams of pasta weighed out. So then we need to get the pasta packet and have a look on the food label. So on the pasta packet there is per 100 grams and then per 170 grams. So we need to use the per 100 grams, reading the carbohydrate. So per 100 grams is 35.7 grams of carbohydrate. So then we need to do the calculation. So we need to do 35.7 divided by 100 to get how much carbohydrate is in 1 gram. And then we need to times by the weight that's on the scales, which is 145 grams. So we would say this is 52 grams of carbohydrate for the pasta. So to make things easier and quicker when you're at home, so if you're going to have the same portion size each time, then we would recommend that you convert the amount that you've weighed out into a household measure. So for example, a ladle or an American cup measure, and then you will know how many grams of carbohydrates are in 1 cup of pasta. And the same can be done for other foods such as rice and cereal. We would recommend families keep a list of the commonly eaten foods and the portion size so they know the carbohydrate content quickly when you're in a rush going about your day-to-day life. So another example of using a food label and weighing foods is weighing out cereal. Now with cereal on the box, we need to make sure that we read the right column. So on cereal, it'd be labelled per 100 grams for the carbohydrate, and also usually per 30 grams with 125 mils of milk. Now it's important that we measure the milk and the cereal out separately and calculate the carbohydrate content. So when you weigh out your cereal, use the per 100 gram column of carbohydrate and read across. So for example, this cereal is 72 grams of carbohydrate per 100, and adjust the amount of carbohydrate using the equation we discussed previously, and then measure out your milk separately using a measuring jug and using the Carbs and Cals book or the food label on the milk to work out the carbohydrate content, and add these two together to get the amount of carbohydrate for your cereal and milk. When children and families are eating out, this becomes slightly more difficult with carbohydrate counting, as you will not have the food label or be able to weigh foods. However, some big chain restaurants in the UK do publish their nutritional information, including the carbohydrate content, on their websites, where you'll be able to look up their common foods served in the restaurant and the carbohydrate content per portion. If this is not available, or you're at a smaller independent restaurant, then we'd recommend using resources such as the Carbs and Cals book or app, and using, for example, one of the pictures that best fits the meal. So for example, if you're going to eat a spaghetti bolognese, then looking at the picture and trying to see which one best fits the portion size that you're going to consume. We know when eating out that this is more of an estimate of the carbohydrate content than when you've weighed out foods and used food labels at home. So we would recommend that you keep an eye on your blood sugars after you've eaten out to see whether your estimation of carbohydrate content is correct. So hopefully this video has helped provide you with more information on carbohydrate counting. Carbohydrate counting is important to help control your blood sugars and ensure optimal glycemic control. Thank you for watching.